Time is 12:02, and you're tuned into the mid-morning talk with me, Fazila Isaac, on Salam Media. Don't forget, engage with us on our social media platforms. WhatsApp 061 766 0355. We are looking forward to hearing from you. Twitter at Salam Media, Facebook www.facebook.com/Salam Media, and stream our shows online www.salammedia.com. Now, keeping in theme the National Children's Day, we are joined by CEO of Tiny Owls Baby Home, Kim Allen. Thank you for joining us, Kim.
Thanks, Fazila.
So, let's get straight into it. Give us a brief introduction into yourself and your role within the organization.
Fazila, I'm the CEO of Tiny Owl's Baby Home. I'm responsible for the management of all the staff. It takes a lot of staff members to ensure that the babies are well looked after. I also deal directly with the social workers who are responsible for placing the babies with me, and then also ensuring that the health and care and medical appointments are attended um, on a monthly basis.
So, this is a safety care facility for abandoned and relinquished babies, right? What
Yes.
inspired this particular foundation?
We ourselves, my husband and I, Wayne, have four biological children, and we went on to adopt three children. And at that point, with a family of seven, we realized that that was what we were limited to. But during that process, we also realized the desperate need for safety care, which is where babies are awaiting placement in a permanent home. That period of time where the court is still trying to um, do research with the biological family and ensure that there isn't somebody who can take the baby, and also look for a prospective adoptive family. That takes time, and those babies need a safe place to stay in the interim. And when we became aware of that need, we decided to convert a triple garage in our home to make space for a nursery, and that's how it started.
Speaking on the fact that, the adoption process does take quite a long time, there's so much of red tape that goes into it. Can you just take us through the process of actually adopting?
Sure. Well, on our end, on Tiny Owl's Baby Home, what we do is we get a phone call from a social worker, and most of the babies that are placed in our care were born in hospital, and the biological mother, for whatever reason, cannot take the baby home and has decided to relinquish the baby for adoption. At that point, we go and fetch, or I go to the hospitals and I fetch those babies, and then I appear at court for the baby to be transferred over to my husband and my name while they're in our care. In the meanwhile, the social workers are lining up adoptive parents. So for parents who are looking to adopt, we only work through private agencies, particularly through ABRA Adoptions and through ProCare. They go through a series of interviews with these parents. There are a lot of requirements, and line up those parents in time for when the baby becomes adoptable, once the baby's gone through the legal process. And then the babies are placed for adoption. It takes anywhere from 3 months to as long as 14 months.
Mm. And should someone, for example, a mother, obviously not going through the system, um, should she want to give up her baby, but obviously need to do it in a safe way, you know,
Yes.
um, what happens then? What is the process with tiny owls in that regard?
Right. We are not responsible for dealing directly with the biological parents, but I have had various phone calls for mothers who are in a difficult situation, and I always refer them to a social worker, because the social workers are the ones who are responsible for the legal process. So I would put them in contact with the social workers I work with, and then those biological mothers receive extensive counseling and advice, and extensive the research around biological family. And if the mother feels that she doesn't want that, it's probably about a 3 month process of counseling before she's able to make that final decision. There are also places that the mothers can go stay for the duration of their pregnancy. So there really is support out there for moms who would like to safely give up their baby. So it would always be through a social worker, and there are safety care places. We're based in Cape Town, and there are a number of safety homes for pregnant mothers that these moms could be referred to.
Mm. Speaking on, the safety that comes with being a parent and bringing the child in, and even the children themselves, finding a safe space for them as well. On the other side, then, if I would want to adopt, all right, um, what would, being someone who has obviously taken children in, what are some of the things to take into consideration when wanting to actually adopt a child?
Adoption is a lot more complex than people realize. I think it is somewhat romanticized. Somebody kind of feels, well, let me come and save a child. That's why it's necessary for prospective adoptive parents to go through the interview process and the preparation process with the social workers so that they can fully understand. Having any child, a biological child, is challenging. We sometimes, I think, wish that we could be better prepared for that. And it's the same with adoption, is the social workers will take the prospective adoptive parents through a training process and helping them understand what specific challenges adopted children could face. And also then they also take them through the process in detail and help them understand from a legal perspective what they will have to, what will be required of them and how long the process will take. So the place to start if you want to adopt is I would suggest there are government social workers who do adoption placements, but they are far and few between. The private agencies are more well equipped to do so. ABBA Adoptions is based here in Cape Town and Johannesburg, and then there's ProCare. It's also based down in Cape Town, and they are adoption specialists. So give them a phone call, and then the social workers make an appointment, and they take you right through the process. And then there's a lot of reading one can do as well. There are a lot of very good books on adoption that can really help people prepare themselves and understand the process legally and also the psychological requirements, the emotional side of it.
And how do you prepare your biological kids to be more accepting of the adopted kids? Because, of course, the dynamics are not going to be the same, It's a little
Yes,
bit,
I
yeah.
think it differs from family to family. My youngest biological child was 3 when we adopted our first 2 children, and they were just on one at the time, 2 boys of more or less the same age. She can't remember them arriving, and so relates to them as she would any other sibling. For the older children, it required a little bit more preparation, but we function entirely as a family unit. There is no difference in our home with our biological and our adopted children. They all view each other as siblings and they've grown together. We did ensure that we created opportunities to spend a lot of time together because our age gap is quite wide. Our youngest is 8 and our oldest is 21. So, we've had to create family time, to create bonding time. But each family does it differently. It does need to be a discussion with the children. When we adopted our last child, every single one of the rest of my children were interviewed by a psychologist to ensure that they were prepared well. That was one of the requirements that the department had of us. So they did interview the children to see that they were on board. It wasn't just our idea as parents.
Mm.
So I think also it's not always possible, but if you do have families in your community, there to spend time with them where children are exposed to families that blended families. The families these days present so differently. You've got mixed families in the same way with adoptive families. Having friends who look similar who also have adopted children makes a difference because then they feel the adopted children feel that it's not abnormal and it's they're no children who come from the same sort of situation.
Yeah. And is there a specific age that you guys take in at the tiny house, or is it because I know there's mostly babies that are there, of course,
Yes.
but do you take like older kids as well?
We don't currently know. We take most of our babies are newborn or a little bit older if they've had to spend an extended time in hospital. But we basically do newborn through to about 1.5 because we're limited in space. So by the time a child's 1.5, 2, they need a lot more room to run around. And by that time, we really trust that the babies have been placed in a good home. So we really are a baby home. We do hope to extend and eventually take in older children, but at this point, we're focusing on the babies.
And tell us about the team that you have at the center.
Okay, we have an amazing team staff. We have 12 ladies currently. We have a permanent morning team that go from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., an afternoon team, and then alternating evening teams. It runs like a hospital nursery would, permanent 24-hour care. They are all first aid trained, wonderful women who have incredible patience, and it's a passion of theirs. I also have one of the ladies who is more on a management level. She doesn't manage the staff, but she does do has additional responsibilities. So she takes babies for immunizations. She assists with certain doctor's appointments. So we do have a person who's able to replace me if I'm not available. And then we also have somebody on marketing who is responsible for social media. And he's just joined us. He's doing a fantastic job. So we're like a family. We really are, with a wonderful set of very dedicated staff who ensure that the babies are very well looked after.
I can actually tell, just by listening to you, that there's so much passion for something like this, so much care that goes into the actual organization, which is so beautiful to see. Kim, we're just going to take a quick short ad break. When we come back, we'll continue to unpack on the foundation. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
This is Salam Media.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists, with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities, conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities. Your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
Thousands of Syrian Palestinian refugees and Lebanese children do not have access to education. Amman means safety and is a school that provides formal education from kindergarten to grade 9. Africa Muslims Agency aims to provide 650 children with education that will change the trajectory of their lives and their families' lives. Fulfill your intention by fulfilling their dreams. Donate 16,000 Rand per child or any amount. Go to africamuslimsagency.co.za or call us on 011 834 8685. Africa Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
Kids these days are smart, and when you're competing for their attention against their smartphones, you need to make smart choices, like using Sunfoil triple refined pure sunflower oil in every meal you make. It's naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether you're cooking, frying, or baking, you get the great tasting results that'll get their attention faster than the latest app. And if that doesn't work, change the Wi-Fi password. Sunfoil. Now we're cooking.
Give charity without delay, for it stands in the way of calamities. For child-headed households in Bloemendal in the Eastern Cape, the daily diet consists of white bread and a carton of cheap juice or sugar water, known locally as the poppy water diet. Make a difference to that one child or family. The Al-Fida Foundation has over the past 13 years worked on the ground and gathered the largest database in the Eastern Cape region of Muslim Zakah recipients. Phone our offices at 041 484 1288 or visit our website at www.alfida.co.za. The Al-Fida Foundation, your social investment partner in the Eastern Cape.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
The time is 12:17 and you're tuned into the mid-morning talk with me, Fazila Isaac, on Salam Media. We are joined by the CEO of Tiny Owls Baby Home, the phenomenal Kim Allen, doing great work at the organization. Kim, welcome back.
Thank you, Salam, Fasila.
We did speak about, you touched on some of the challenges that come through. What are some of those that you have actually seen when it comes to having the organization and, the day-to-day running of the organization as well?
I think one of the challenges we've experienced is, some of the babies that arrive do have medical challenges, and the children are obviously not on medical aid; they are a ward of the state. So we, have to visit state hospitals in their area, which are usually well equipped with wonderful specialists, but everything is very time consuming. So, sitting in queues for a child who may be HIV positive, for monthly check-ins, etc. And sometimes, we've had babies who had an acute illness where we've taken them to a government hospital and they haven't been treated well, and we've had to access private care at our own cost to save the baby. So the medical side of things, we do get to choose whether we take babies in who do have medical challenges, but it's difficult to say no. If a baby has a need for safe space, that's why we're here. So we generally say yes, which then requires extra time. That's the reason why I've trained an extra staff member to be able to visit hospital and be at these medical appointments over and above myself, to be able to free up some time. So that's one of our challenges, is the medical requirements some of these babies have. I'd say that probably the biggest challenge we have is fundraising. With any NPO, it's a challenge. People are always willing to volunteer, and we really do value our volunteers. We love it when people want to be part of the baby home and when they want to give of their time. But at the end of the day, it costs a lot of money to run an organization, especially a staff-heavy organization that we have. So our fundraising is probably our biggest challenge, is to continue to bring in enough finance to look after the babies on a monthly basis.
And what does the organization need in order for it to reach its full potential?
Just to reiterate, it needs a fair amount of money. At the moment, the running cost is close to 100,000 Rand a month, which sounds excessive. But when you consider the fact that there are many staff members that need to look after babies on a monthly basis, we also love donations we do have enough clothing at the moment, but all of the nappies, wet wipes, formula, we always welcome that, because there's obviously going to be a never-ending need for those. But people tend to want to donate nappies and their time. So at this point in time, for us to continue to be viable, we're really encouraging corporates to consider us for CSI, and even individuals to be able to consider even a small amount monthly. If that consistent amount comes in, and we're able to rely on it, it makes a very big difference.
And I did see something about Giving Tuesday. So Giving Tuesday, you have it as a global day of giving to create a more generous and fair society. Tell us about this.
Giving Tuesday is originally an American, I think it's the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving, but it now seems to have become global. We are encouraging people on Giving Tuesday to be able to go onto the website, even if it's a once-off donation, even a small amount is welcome, is to be able to join us and join hands with us and support the babies over that time. And also for corporates, this time of the year where people are in the giving spirit and it's moving towards Christmas, to be able to consider us for their annual CSI, and to make contact with us on that day. And also for friends and supporters of Tiny Owls to post on social media and encourage others to give.
And how can people make contact with the organization or yourself in order for them to donate?
And the easiest, Fazila, is to go onto the website, which is tinyowls.org.za. There's a very clear, all the contact details are there. There's also a donate button. If you press the donate button, you have the option of SnapScan, PayFast, and EFT. So we've made it very easy for people to go onto the website and donate, and the contact details are clearly there as well. There's also information on who we are. So yes, everything can be found there.
Kim, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. I really, really wish you all the best with the organization, your team, and the babies that you take into your care, not forgetting your husband as well, who obviously is an important part in this too.
Yes.
So brilliant, brilliant job. Really, really wish you guys all the best and the growth that comes from this. Thank you so much for your time, Kim.
Well, thank you, Fazila. Really appreciate you having us on.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day. Bye.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
That was Kim Allen, the CEO of Tiny Owls Baby Home. You can contact them on 021 036 0062, or you can email them hello@tinyowls.org.za. Please send your donations through. Bigger companies, corporates, make sure you make them part of your CSI as well. They do require assistance from you guys. Fairly amazing work that they're doing out there. Their website is tinyowls.org.za, and they're very active on their socials as well. The time is now 12:23, and you're still tuned into the mid-morning talk with me, Fazila Isaac, on Salam Media. We're going to take an ad break, and when we come back, Mu'allima Appreciation Day. Stay tuned.